Welcome to the 43rd meeting of Junto Club. On this episode, we're talking about how energy is the finite resource we need to use wisely. We discuss how the world is becoming increasingly chaotic as there's claims of sentient AI, another crypto bust, the recent Supreme Court decisions, trash cans reaching a new level of dirty, and an opportunity for near instantaneous delivery. We sort through the good, bad, frustrating, and smutty. For any questions, comments, or if you'd like to rant on something important to you, email juntoclubpodcast@gmail.com. This is Junto Club.
Junto Club.
Welcome to the 43rd meeting of the Junto Club on June 26th. We kind of modeled this after Benjamin Franklin, who organized a group of friends, which he called the Junto Club, to do mutual improvement, where they discussed business, science, philosophy, politics, and such. So we decided to try to do something at least a little similar, come together, talk about topics that are at least somewhat educational, learn things and share them with each other to sort of, better our understanding of ourselves and the world. Also just to screw around some, hit or miss some days. This week, we're just going to have some random topics about stuff that's going on. No specific main overarching thing. But as we always do, we're going to start with a quote that Shu brought us today.
All right. I think this quote, I might have talked about it before, but I think it's worth to bring up again as a main quote to discuss. So the quote of today is, the most precious resource we have is not time, but energy, end quote. By Jean Lowe, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Have we discussed this before, you think?
I don't remember it,
that's
but
good.
now we've been doing this for a long time, so it could have just been wiped from my brain.
But yeah,
I feel like we went Benjamin Franklin so consistently in the beginning. I feel like I would remember this, but it's possible this came up just on not as a quote of the day, but in a different context.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
No, but I actually really like it because I would say I really agree with it because I don't know. I guess the obvious thing that jumps out is people often are like, I don't have time to work out. And sometimes I'll think that too, be like, oh, I don't have time to work out. But if I'm being honest, you could fit 30, 40 minutes in somewhere in a day. But if you've been really busy running around chores, doing work, dealing with other things that are stressful, it's more so you're just exhausted and just need to lay down for a little bit, right? Chill out.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's right that most people, even productive people, who aren't snorting cocaine, right, will still take breaks, relax for a few hours a day because you need to. And it's at least, and then you have the weekends and stuff. If you had more energy, you could actually use a lot more of your time, not just basically recovering. But not that you should try to do that, because as a healthy, balanced person, you need that time to relax and recover. That's just a fact of life. But anyway, this is why, the financial sector in Wall Street, they get the white powder, right? To keep them going.
Exactly.
No.
Any thoughts, Mike?
I basically agree with Matt. I mean, I've heard different people say, if something's important to you, you'll essentially make time for it, right? So that's basically the idea, is that you can squeeze in, 10, 15 minutes here and there, or, half an hour a day or whatever. And if we want to look at what's the definition of energy in physics, Matt? Energy equals power times time or something.
I think you're trying to think of work. Force times distance. Well, energy, that's actually a weird question.
Energy is Joule, right?
Energy, I'm thinking of this, probably overcomplicating it, but energy is hard to define specifically in physics, because energy is a state of a system. It's not a thing that exists specifically somewhere.
But even
this is not relevant. Just say what you're going to say.
Okay, forget it. Yeah, no, it's not relevant. I was just trying to ground it in a literal math thing.
Well, literal energy is energy allow you to do stuff. That's basically what energy is, right? What do you think, Mike? Mike, right? Allow you to do stuff. Now, how do you do that is and how you're able to do it, it depends on how much energy you have, right?
Right.
But I mean, so then the point is that the time, if you don't, even though you have plenty of time, if you don't have energy, you'll not be able to use the time productively, right? Or to do anything you want, right? But I mean, you were talking about work, mostly taking a rest, but how I didn't get what's your point of relating to energy though, Matt?
I'm thinking of energy based on this quote, right? I'm thinking of it in the sense we say for humans, right? So we're not literally talking about like calories that you consume. It's not like most people these days have trouble getting enough calories.
Yeah.
It's about like more like a mental thing where like, do you have the mental energy to make yourself do something that's maybe not just like fun or a short-term reward, but to like work towards something that's productive or some goal or hobby, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and that's right. I mean, as I think I mentioned before, nice night, a lot of people try to work and then to retire and then do nothing when they're old, right? After they retire, but they realize they have all the time, but they don't have the energy to do stuff anymore.
Well, they say when you're young, you don't have money. When you're like middle age, you don't have time, and when you're old, you don't have energy.
Exactly.
Those are the trade-offs.
Yeah, and when you are young, you still have the time to enjoy the surfing or any other activity that you might want to do. But when you get old, you don't have the energy, physical, mentally, to do those things anymore, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah. So no, I think this is a good quote. Maybe not. I don't know if it like changes how you'll live your life, right? But I think it's like
no, you could. Like,
points
for
to
example,
something.
you were talking about working out earlier, right? Oh, too busy, you don't have time to work out. But I think a lot of people don't realize that the working out actually give you more energy, right?
That's
So
true, of course.
yeah, if you got lazy, you say, oh, you're too busy, you don't have you don't. Yeah, so that's right. So there's a couple of things you can do to sleep more, right? Sleep better, right? To give you more energy to like sometimes we tend to work and then let's finish this work and then it's late already and you go sleep, you only wake up again, you only have 4 hours sleep or something when you go, and when you wake up, you don't have the energy to do the good work for the next day, right? Stuff like that. Yeah. Something related to productivity too. I think if you have more energy, you'll be more productive, and then you actually save time, right?
Well, I mean, I think so. I agree with you. Like for me, working out definitely gives me more energy, but I would say, like what Matt was talking, like, or what I guess what was brought up earlier, like with respect to like there are different things that are going to energize different people. So, like, I mean, I think like, I mean, let's again keep this more in like the metacognitive definition of energy, where it's like something that's like going to spur you to like want to do more. Like, so this is talking about like having energy to do things that make you feel good. It's like if you're a person who has not worked out, like working out is going to suck and probably leave you pretty tired at like the end of the workout, at least for like the months it takes you to get into it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, whereas like for someone who it's like we're working out as part of their routine, it's going to be like an energizing thing. Like you're going to feel good coming out of it and like able to do more. Whereas like, I guess for example, for me, like I'm not like a gamer or something. So it's like, if I take time to like, I mean, for some people, it literally may be energizing and like a good use of energy to like play an intense like online player video game or something. Whereas for me, I'm just like, I'm bored and now I don't have energy. So so I think the having energy and like using energy productively is like defined differently for different people, and what energizes people is going to be different for different people.
Of course. I'm just, I guess one more thing is about the time and energy. I think a lot of people, and I think it's a good reminder, right? Even though it's about to measure, like you can track it every day, right? It's a good metric to measure energy. Like every day, you see how like tracking, like how much free time I have, right? Or rest time I have is a good way to measure like how much energy you have, right? It's to determine if it's a good day, so you can, change or improve it somehow, figure out how to increase your energy, I guess. Even with, I guess, hanging out with people too, right? You know, you have friends and stuff like that. If they drain your energy, it's probably not a good thing to do every day, right? And then maybe it's a sign, and then, you know, maybe find friends and they actually give you more energy instead of drain your energy, right? It's just some kind. I think a very easy thing to track, to track every day, like easy thing to track, and then instead of some other, you could use other metric to track other things like your productivity or your, I don't know, how much you sleep and stuff like that. Instead of like tracking how much you sleep, you know, it's better just track one thing, which is how much energy you have.
You know, kind of building on something you both said, it reminded me of what I've heard is like, people often think introverts, they say introverts don't like social stuff, but I've heard it said, well, what it really is like, introverts just feel drained doing social stuff. So they might enjoy it, but like, even if they enjoy being around friends, they'll feel like tired, while extroverts, if they're around friends for a few hours and like done, they'll be like more energized afterwards and like more hyped up, I guess. So I've heard that as the, you know, real difference between introverts and extroverts. I don't know.
That's
but
okay.
Related. Also, hold on. Let's go back one step though, Mike. What was this energy equation you were talking about?
I think I was thinking of like electric energy. So it's like power times time is the amount of like electric energy in joules. So
okay. I mean, you also got like 1/2 mv squared, right? Like for kinetic energy. So like it's all depends. But I'm going to tell you something.
Energy, the ultimate energy is not E equal mc squared?
Well, that too, right? So there's just a slight distraction because this is kind of an interesting thing, right? Like I had a professor tell me this analogy once in undergrad. He's like, if you look at a painting, right? He's like, you can't point to where the beauty is, right? And if you like zoom in like really close, there's not like beauty here that you can point to, right? The beauty of the painting, standing off from the subjective part for the moment, is like how the whole thing like goes together, right? That's how I described energy. I mean, we can write equations that say, well, in this situation, this is like, we call it energy, but energy isn't like a thing, like a physical thing. It's like a state of a system, right? Because like you keep lifting, you know, you say you define potential energy as 0 because something's on like the ground level, right? But then if you put it over a hole, now they're, you know, like now we say, oh, it does have potential energy, right? And I guess you could say, well, everything on the surface just has that potential energy anyway. But anyway, that's the point. Whatever. Random off topic.
You're saying yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say another random tangent that I want to make like literally 30 seconds is I would say to that professor, I can train a convolutional neural network and learn weights that indicate what beauty is in a painting.
Okay.
Well, that's one of the stuff we talked about last time. That DALL-E, the DALL-E 2, the AI is able to create paintings just by inputting your description, and then
it knows what beautiful is. You can.
So, are you saying the eigenangels are just like the definition of what a beautiful human face is?
That's right. Yes.
All right. Are we going to explain what eigenangels are for like? One viewer? I don't think we do. I think we just move on.
No. Actually, I'm curious. What?
Eigenangels? Didn't you take Thad Sterner's class in Georgia Tech?
I did, but I don't know
in our class.
He was talking about it.
She wasn't in our class.
Yeah.
I'm almost. Oh, you weren't in my class, maybe then, Matt. She was in my class because
I was in your class, Mike. Shoo, you were in our class?
I think so.
Now I feel bad.
He was with Ryan Kerwin. Yeah, he was you were partnered with Ryan Kerwin. You did this. Yeah. They did the Scrabble thing that I don't remember.
Which I didn't do. I didn't do anything work. I think. Either way, yeah. I think I wasn't really paying attention to the class, so that's why.
To give the super short version, basically they took a bunch of pictures of human faces and like decomposed it into the primary components. So like, this is like so like the first few, well, that part's not important. Basically, I think the real part was like, if you average up the primary components of like what makes human faces like pictures, if they're like decomposed, it like makes a beautiful picture of a person. So that was referred to as eigenangels, but it's really just averaging a lot of stuff basically it's kind of like averaging a lot of faces if done right makes an attractive face.
Well, I do hear about something called a golden ratio, right? You heard of that before?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's what's the number, like, what's a great number for it? Like 3 or 5, right? Anyway, either way, in the golden ratio, like you look at a beautiful face, right? Usually there's a golden ratio of I think the ratio between maybe the eyes and the nose and stuff like that, right? And then they found, I think I actually learned this in psychology in high school. I think the teacher was like, oh, that's why Tom Cruise is one of the, like, considering one has a very good golden ratio of face.
Okay.
Right. So that's why he's I guess very good looking, I guess, right?
I mean, she thinks Tom Cruise is very good looking. Keep that in mind.
Yeah, no. I mean,
you don't think so?
I don't remember who was listed, but yeah, basically I remember an article I saw that I basically looked at the faces of like tons and tons of celebrity and like who was closest to the golden ratio, like of all these different celebrities. And I will say it did not necessarily hold. Like it didn't like the people who were closest weren't necessarily like the best looking, but so it's sort of a little bit of a fallacy, but I assume it factored, like symmetry in some respects, I'm sure factors in. So
gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, let's end our tangents and get to the important stuff, the random topics we have to cover. First on the list, did y'all hear about the Google employee who was like, we made a sentient AI?
Yes, Lambda, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
did you not hear about it, Mike?
I didn't hear about this at all.
Well, basically, he was, I think he was like some engineer who got put into like an AI ethics position, and he was like, it's like a chat bot essentially, like a very advanced one. You just like type to it and it types back. But he essentially he like released some of his logs where he's like asking it if it's sentient, and it says it is. And then and he also got fired over it.
I think suspended.
Well, yeah, I guess suspended, but like he released them publicly and was like, we need to protect its life and stuff. I've now like read through them, at least some of them.
Mm-hmm.
And if you just look like at one or two questions he asked, you're like, oh, that is pretty like crazy. But like once you start looking a bit more there, you see more and more stuff that like doesn't exactly make sense. And you kind of realize a lot of his questions are like asked in a way that it's like, it's not open-ended, but it's like, are you XYZ? And then it's like, yes, I'm XYZ. And then talks about it a little bit. Right. So it's sort of like leading questions that make it, I feel like,
right.
kind of help gets it there. And like it was trained on human text, right? I don't know the details about what, but like we have tons of sci-fi stories of like, sentient AI. So like it could easily be trained on like literal text examples of this. And there's like other stuff where it talks about it having it enjoys spending time with friends and family, right? But it doesn't have a family, obviously, even if you could say, well, maybe it thinks it has friends, right? So like it doesn't understand what family is, or it's just repeating things. It's like read people right? Either way, it's like, is that, real? It's not like understanding it. There's something else like, oh yeah, it said it like likes to sit quietly to meditate, to like feel better or something like that. And it's like, well, obviously like, this doesn't make sense.
Physical embodiment.
Yeah. So it's like, when you see things like that, it starts to really kind of like break the illusion of like, is this just, doing a very good job of taking what people have written and like reinterpreting it and spitting it back out without like, the understanding of that we, would think of making something sentient or a general AI.
Yeah. No, I mean, I feel like with chatbots, like if you give them enough structure, like enough structure and like how you ask and the text they learn from and their responses like lining up well, like you can get something pretty convincing. But I mean, so it's like, we don't know if his code is basically like how much code is like detailing, like this is how you respond and this will be your input. Like it can be pretty exhaustive. Like we don't know.
Why does
isn't it a giant neural net? I didn't actually look, but I just assumed it would be.
Probably just some deep learning stuff.
Well, no, I'm sure it's like a generative like neural network or something. But I mean, like you can still like specify like like depending on how you train it, right? I mean, it could basically know to put out like, like some type of structure, like
But who's this person though? The employee? Like, why does he think he's sentient?
Because he was some guy whose job involved talking to it, and apparently he asked it and was convinced.
What's his background? Was he religious?
No.
Does he have a religious background?
Actually.
Was he religious?
I think I did read that.
So I think people like that is probably predisposed to, even though was he a software engineer or just an ethicist? Okay.
I think he was originally an engineer.
I feel like if you're an engineer, sometimes it's really hard to, if you know how it was trained, it's just a neural network and then sentient, yeah.
Well, I mean, are we just physically embodied neural networks, Shiv? I mean, so, but
are we?
Probably, but I don't know.
Good point.
I mean, it's interesting that he, yeah, I mean, it is interesting. Like, I feel like for him to be like, this is sentient, like, I don't know. Like, is that like maybe like looking for like, is he looking for press? Like, is he thinking like, oh, this is maybe an opportunity, like, for me to like make a name for myself? Or
what does sentient mean anyway? Like conscious? Like, it's really a big, I mean,
well, that's
a
thing.
Philosophical question itself, right? It's not really well defined. What does sentient actually mean?
No, in robot ethics, like our robots in society, like the undergrad class I had at TA, like that was one of the questions, like when do robots actually get to a point where they like deserve recognition? Like, so he's saying protect this AI's life. Like, when do we actually say like AI deserves protection? Like,
yeah.
When do we not get when can we not shut it off? Right.
Yeah.
Because that's like killing it.
Yeah, and I think that's what this guy's point is, that it's sentient, so we should protect it. It should have rights and stuff like that, right? Yeah.
Well, I mean,
did he go to Georgia Tech by any chance?
Yeah, that's right.
I don't know.
I do feel like he's asking the question too early, but I guess he could literally type to the chat bot, "Do you want to be shut off?"
And, he did say that. I think he said.
Okay.
I think he's like, what are you most afraid of? I think the AI is like, I'm most afraid of being shut up and stuff like that. I think. Maybe death, die or something, right? Or dying, stuff like that. Yeah.
All right. Well, it's convincing stuff.
Well, it's not convincing right now because there's a lot of things worse than death. So. This AI definitely is not sentient.
She would have been convinced if the chat bot had come back and said public speaking.
Exactly. that will make it sentient. All right. I think they should put this AI onto the trash can in Sweden.
Oh, hold on.
You know what I'm talking about?
Well, I saw your link. Why don't you explain that story?
So yeah, there's a trash can in Sweden. Basically, is like talks dirty, like flirt talks dirty to people when people put trash into the trash can. Nice. So when you like put trash into the trash can, you say, oh, something like, oh, right there, stuff like that, and then like, oh, do it again. Of course, say in a very female, sexy voice, right? Which I cannot do. So yeah. Anyway, you should just watch the video.
Does it encourage people to throw their trash away?
Yeah. Did you watch the video?
No.
Okay. You just say, oh, is that, yeah, just like very sexy voice, like flirting voice, like, yeah. So basically, so they should just combine the Google AI with this trash can, that'd be good.
I guess positive reinforcement works. But yeah, I mean, actually, it would be smart to combine it with something, because I feel like if the trash can has like 5 different things it says, then like people will just get bored with it. Like, it's like it won't keep people doing it, I feel like. But if the trash can actually were to like be maybe a little bit more like creative and like individualize and personalize like what it says to you, that might make people more interested in like using it.
I don't think they did. Yeah, go ahead, Matt.
I was going to say, just let it have conversations with people. Maybe the first, sentient AI will be a trash can. And I'll be like, why did you make me?
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. So then you would become sentient and try to kill people because people generate too much trash.
Yeah, that's right.
No, it would like getting trash, right? I assume it'd enjoy. It wants to consume trash. It's like food.
True.
That's its driving force. Like,
right.
It's a fundamental piece of code is like all you want is trash, and it encourages people to like just consume to the point of destroying the world because all it wants is trash.
Yes, that's the obvious end, result of all this.
No. In the end, you finally determine human is ultimately trash.
Oh man, y'all should write a book, a sci-fi novel here.
Yeah. No,
all right.
I like that. I like the. I don't really like the dirty talk, aspect of it. It's like okay, but like I do like the idea of like public things, like sort of using AI to sort of creatively nudge people to do good things.
Yeah.
We should. Sorry, you go, Shu.
I was just saying this trash can is not really using, an advanced AI. It's just some reactive. Like just have limit every time people do something, you just randomly probably say something.
I'm sure
from the choices, and in the goal actually, I think in the mayor or someone, the people were saying that the project is that the goal is to provoke conversation. Basically, it's not really like to encourage people to throw away, just to encourage conversation, talk about trash, throw trash into trash can and stuff like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
An alternative AI that could do that would be if we took like a Boston Dynamics spot robot and put a taser on it and had it tase people who litter.
That is true. So Matt's all for negative reinforcement.
Negative reinforcement. Sticks work better than carrots, okay?
Maybe that's how Singapore is so clean.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
They can you.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Oh, so I didn't actually write this down, but this reminded me of something I've been saying, because this kind of topic of using robots to, aggressively against people. There's now there's starting to be more and more drone footage from Ukraine, but not like, not like the, big flying drones that like the military has and missiles stuff, right? I mean, they have some of those too, right? But I'm talking about consumer drones, and they got like their camera that they fly it with pointed straight down, and they just like rig up a grenade or something to it, or like a mortar, and then just fly it over stuff, and then just like have it like this jank system just drop. Kind of like how the first pilots in World War I just sort of like chucked bombs out the side of the plane, right? Like it wasn't like a really official system. They just sort of like hacked it together to say, well, we can fly over the enemies now, so we can just drop something on them. So now there's like these videos of them just dropping stuff from like, vehicles, boats, just people doing stuff. And I'm like, imagine that. Like you could be just doing anything, and then just this tiny drone, like 500 feet in the air, just like drops a bomb on you. Like, holy shit.
That's what they're using it in Ukraine, right? They destroy those tanks, and that cost probably $10 million or something, right? Just by using drones.
Well, I think a lot of those were like the military level ones, right? Like,
I don't think I think even in Ukraine they're using pretty cheap drones, right, to do that, right? They're not using advanced like drones or something, right? Not like the big ones, right? The smaller ones able just to, for example, probably cost less than $1,000 and able to destroy Russian tanks cost more than $1 million, right?
Oh yeah, I guess the ones I was seeing are the stuff it's literally like consumer hobby quad rotors, and like a single hand grade's not going to destroy a tank, right?
Yeah.
But if you drop that on soldiers, it can kill them, right? So
yeah. And what I heard is they have been just using those drones to destroy tanks and stuff like that. So
Yeah,
maybe I could be wrong, but yeah.
It could be. I guess if they can just strap something bigger to it, right? Then a hand grenade or something.
Yeah.
But it was only a matter of time before these like small, cheap quad rotors started to be used for violence. So we're now into that world. So
mass shooting, right?
I mean, I didn't want to bring it up, but yeah, eventually there's going to be someone who's like, well, instead of bringing a gun, they're just going to like fly a bomb on a quad rotor into something. But yeah, that's going to be. We're probably going to see that in our lifetime. So
yeah, definitely. Just some engineer gone crazy, right? You just have to see those, right? I mean, the most dangerous people are the educated people that gone crazy, right? Like biologists, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm probably most afraid of those. Like, I'm not really afraid of like those like mass shooting or just have a drone which of course gonna cause mass destruction too, but not as me as like biologists or chemists that gone rogue, right? That create bioweapons and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Which is very easy, right? I think we talked about before too. Like very easy to create those, like especially with the DNA technology. So anyway.
Yeah. Well, I'll give two predictions. One, someone's going to use like a consumer drone to do some sort of like attack eventually.
Yeah.
And then two, eventually people are going to start I'm betting laser turrets, right? Like a big public things like stadiums are going to have laser turrets that just automatically blast any drones out of the sky, right? Because like, how do you stop that? They're going to be like, we need some way to defend.
Yeah.
Turrets, lasers. You see anything flying low like that, it just melts it. Sends it flaming to the ground, which is not exactly safe either, but I don't know what their other options would be, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, either that or just super high nets, like around the edges of stadiums.
Yeah, well, nets would be much harder to hit it, right? Either way, you have something falling, and if it's above a crowded area, this is like a problem, but like, I don't know what you can do about
it's probably
that,
some simple ideas, very simple solutions. I think, like us, I mean, like engineers, I think we think too much. Sometimes we just maybe come up with a too complex solution for some easy solutions.
Anyway, the laser turret's a simple solution.
Okay.
It's straightforward, right? Aim and shoot. You're just shooting it down. The classic American way of dealing with the problem, right?
True. Well, there's a company called Adderall that is working on anti-drone technology for like defense and stuff like that. And you know Palmer Luckey?
I don't think so.
He's the one that actually created Oculus.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then I think he got fired by Facebook or something because he donated about $9,000 to the Hillary Clinton campaign, not anti-Hillary campaign or something. So I think, and there's a controversy on that time. So after that, he started a company called Anduril that's doing defense stuff, and which is kind of interesting. I heard he's like defense. A lot of people are like just not willing to work on it, like for defense, actually. Like Google employees, right? They say, "Oh, we don't want to work on defense," and a lot of investors they don't want to invest in defense technology either because it's just it's very controversial, I guess, to work on for DoD and stuff like that. So anyway, and what's my point? Oh, I guess my point, like going back to when you were brainstorming how to defend these drones, right? It just made me think about a video I saw, like people try to develop autonomous like mowers, right, for mowing a lawn. I just saw one guy, I think a video on LinkedIn. He basically what he did is he put a post, like big post, on the ground in the center of on the ground, basically.
Oh, with a rope.
Yeah, and then he just let the mower, tie to the post with a rope, right, and then just let the mower go by itself, and he basically the rope as a rope like as it rotates, right, it actually shortens, it actually mows the whole lawn, right? Just simple solution instead of robots, I guess.
Wow.
But then this is what do you think?
Well, it does a circle, which is something.
That's all you need, right? How much do you need?
I would want to pay more for the robot that gets the whole yard.
I mean, the circle is kind of almost a whole yard, right?
So, like, he would just need to do, like, the edges, I get, like, like the corners, assuming it's a square yard, I guess. Maybe his yard's a perfect circle.
Exactly. You could just why do you need
his yard? Okay, his house is in his yard, right? Like he doesn't have just a yard, a circular piece of property somewhere with no building in it, I assume, or trees.
Or maybe he just like paved over, like he just paved, like he's like, okay, I'm gonna put like a paved driveway that like perfectly makes my grass yard a circle. I mean,
even so, if his house is in it, you can't do it, right? This doesn't work in a region where there's a house or a tree or something like that, unless you did it around the tree.
Yeah,
could use a tree instead of a post, but
yeah. Anyway, again, talking about the drum again, like you using the mass shooting, I guess. Then I guess my curious question is, I think I heard Biden just signed a new gun bill or something. I was wondering what's in it.
He signed something? I hadn't heard anything.
Well, I thought, maybe they just passed a bipartisan gun bill, right? Huh? You didn't hear anything about it?
I think it was overwhelmed by Roe v. Wade stuff, I guess.
It's just like a couple of days ago, like right before Roe v. Wade got overturned. Well, let's go to Roe v. Wade then, since you put it on there.
Okay. Well, hold on. First, I want to do something. I should make this. I think I'm gonna make this like an every episode, like mini topic. Like we'll start with shoes quotes, and then I want to go on Matt's dumping on crypto section. Because today we're going to talk about Celsius, the crypto lending company that went insolvent like 2 weeks ago and had to freeze all these people's money. So do you know what Celsius is, Shu?
Yes.
I assume so, but I guess you don't like.
No.
It tried to act like a bank, so people could deposit their crypto into it. So it would own the crypto technically, but you'd have an account that like would give you access. And then they would lend the crypto out, for, with interest, and then give some of that interest back to the people. So like if you deposited your crypto in the bank, you didn't just like have hope the crypto's value went up, but like you got some sort of returns from the fact that you had holdings there. And basically my understanding is it was just the classic bank run. There was some concerns over, there are some promises about like outrageous interest rates that would be like guaranteed to investors, and something, I don't know what triggered it, but something sort of started to run off and people started pulling out, and this company Celsius didn't have the liquidity to start, giving everyone their money, and they weren't able to. So they had to end up freezing people's accounts and being like, you can't withdraw your money. Now a bunch of people are like, are we very nervous about if they will ever get their money? Even if they do unfreeze things, right? Well, people just immediately then withdraw what they have and move on because, their confidence in the institution is shattered.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, on one hand, it's like a classic thing that's happened to, traditional banks in the past too, right? But, it was a thing.
It's also like just literally trying to add, like, if we've learned anything from Shu's episodes on crypto, like the value of crypto is like decentralization, right? And like this is just literally a central institution that is mirroring.
Well, a lot of the crypto innovation and big players have just centralized large portions of, the whole thing. I mean, what was it? One of these game companies, I think, are like, we're going to start our own blockchain for game things. It's like, but like if you're running, I think one was going to only have like their own 7-node network, right? So 7 like computer systems, they run each one. And it's like, if you're running the whole chain, like, why do you even need it to be a blockchain, right?
Right.
Like,
just 7 different servers.
Do a centralized database, have a backup server or two, and just like be on with it, right? Yeah. So it's weird. It's interesting watching how things evolve away from a lot of the, I think, original intentions of the blockchain.
So yeah, I think regarding your point about decentralization, why is it just 7 nodes to start, right? I think to create a blockchain, inherently you had to be centralized in the first, and you start, right? Like Satoshi, when he created Bitcoin, it's probably just his computer running the Bitcoin chain, right? But as you as you progressively decentralize it, more people get involved, community got involved, it became more decentralized. Now Bitcoin is completely decentralized and no one person control it, right? And then a lot of stuff, I think even a lot of projects right now, and everything that the game whether you just destroy is probably doing the same thing. Like you, in the beginning, you have to kind of, someone need to create it, right? So a team. And then how they decentralize it in the future is a completely different story. And going back to Celsius, I guess, as I think I might point out already, is like, even though this is crypto company, it actually is basically a central bank. Basically, it's a central entity. It has nothing decentralized about it. And what it does is basically it take all the crypto that people put in there, like so they can get yield, like get like interest, like sometimes claim like 17% or like 10%, right? And of course, then this is central entity. They just do like very risky stuff, right? Very, just like bank back in the day in 2008, right? When they do all like mortgage, like stupid mortgage lendings and stuff like that, right? So basically, this Celsius did exactly the same thing, and I don't know what they do exactly, but basically that's what happens. And then they lost, since the crypto and the price all gone down, right? So they lost a lot of money and stuff like that. So they have no liquidity to pay people back, I think. Yeah. So yeah. So there's another one other more. There's so many other projects that is actually going down right now, which is good actually for the crypto community, actually in general, because it's like back in the day in the internet, like 2000, right? Like a lot of company got started, like hype on hype, and got failed, right? And then in the end, the who survives are those the ones that actually doing real stuff, right? Yeah, but
they're bringing back that classic, boom and bust cycle,
exactly.
Old school capitalism.
Yeah, in the end, after the hype, it was stable into something that is more useful, right? Just like AI and like deep learning, right? You say like 2017, 16, say, deep learning is in the future. It's gonna enable like autonomous driving and stuff like that. And then there was the hype, and then now it's like, not really, but it's still doing something useful, right? Without it, yeah. So it's still a better world without with deep learning, even though not as as hype as we thought it would be, right? So
we may not have sentient AI yet, but still...
we may. Yeah, true. Yeah.
But computers can now recognize cats and dogs very well. Pictures,
true.
So
it's true.
It's pretty helpful.
No,
there's useful stuff that deep learning has. Yeah, like it. Yeah, there was a lot of hype, but I feel like it has come out as a fairly productive tool, right? Yeah. Like it hasn't revolutionized our lives, but how many Snapchat filters wouldn't work without like deep learning for like, I actually don't know if they use deep learning to do like the face tracking and stuff, but
yeah. No, certainly they use they probably for like auto encoders and decoders for like face swap and like those types of things.
Yeah. That's a big deal.
All right. Any crypto thing you want to share down? Bring it on.
No, we don't want to ruin it, right? I only have to bring one failed major crypto project an episode, right?
Actually, there's so many failed projects. There's one. There's one bigger one than this one is because Celsius. Celsius is actually very centralized. It's like company, right? So nothing decentralization about it, right? And besides whatever is crypto that got deposited. And another one before Celsius, there's something called Terra and Luna. Basically,
was that the one that had the stable coin go below
exactly.
the dollar price? I didn't hear about that. Yeah.
So actually, that is a bigger one because it was actually a blockchain. So this guy, I think he's something Kwon. He's Korean, South Korean. And he basically created this called stablecoin, US stablecoin, basically pegged against. They say $1 is $1, right? Stablecoin, right? $1 US dollar is one USD, like Terra or something like that, and right. So, so what happens is the way that he does they do the stable coin like 1-to-1. It's not a lot of people because there's one version. One version you basically have $1 and you have $1 in your bank account somewhere, right?
Right.
Now you basically have a asset that actually backs the hard asset that backs up the value of the stable coin. Like $1 is you have a $1 in your bank account basically, right? Like, but actually this version of stable coin is called something called arithmetic, right? So basically using some kind of algorithm to stabilize the coin, right? Basically computer code say, hey, okay, this try to stable to have a $1 value, right? So basically it's the process is very complicated using some kind of algorithm to create
they, like,
a stable coin.
More coins or something to like
yeah. So that's why they have a Luna and Terra. Basically the Terra and Luna and they have different values. Once you increase the value of the other, you kind of stabilize the value of the other token, try to make this a stable coin $1 basically, right? Try to stabilize it. So anyway, so that thing actually a lot of people invest in that a lot, and people lost all the money in that. So that actually a legit blockchain, but it was not good.
Yeah, no, that was a good reminder because I had heard about it a while ago when it was first crashing. Because like even when it dropped like 5 cents under $1, people were like, because it was one of the biggest stable coins because there's more than one.
Oh yeah.
So people are like, oh my god, like the stable coin's trading less than $1. But now I've looked and it's like. It was like, basically $1 for months. And then it's like this exponential decay towards zero price over a few weeks. Like it's done like a cent now.
Yeah, it's dead now.
The coin that's supposed to be $1. So like, yeah, that's like no recovery. Theoretically, Celsius could maybe become solvent again. And if people were willing to like bring money back, like their institution could like get going again. It seems like Terra Luna's dead.
Yeah, Terra Luna's dead, but yeah.
Man, you invest a bunch of money in a stable coin and then its price goes to nothing.
Yeah. So actually that's why South Korea and actually the government actually banned all these employees from traveling abroad because they want to still investigating, right? So stuff like that. So anyway, that's another bigger one.
Anyway, what I'll say one thing though. I totally agree with you, Shu, that as more of these crypto projects fail, it's better. Like it's good.
It's good for the system, right? All the scams, right? And the Ponzi scheme, stuff like that. And then, crypto does have a fair, it's not really being productive right now. It's not really doing anything really, really useful, right? Not like world changing or anything besides just swapping coins around and then, as money basically, right? And there's other applications that I think people are working on, which is good. Oh, yeah. So that's what I'm looking into right now, try to see like what's the best use case, right?
Yeah.
People are still debating about it. Yeah.
I do think Bitcoin has some use, but I think it's pretty limited and most of the value is not from how useful it is, but just from like the hype that came around.
Oh yeah, no, Bitcoin is goal originally just to be a currency, so that's its only use case. You cannot really use it for anything else, right? But blockchain, on the other way, you can use it for something else, which is something that I try to think about. Like, is basically the main thing is decentralization, right? What problem what use case, what in a world that does actually needs decentralization, that would be a key benefit, would solve a big problem, right? Which I cannot really think of anything right now.
Yeah.
So.
No, we talked about this a little before, but I feel like the things I see most commonly are still like ticket sales and video games, but both of those again come down to a centralized thing, right? Like you have one game company's server that even if it's a single player game, you have to just let them, you're going to download the game from you. If it's a multiplayer game, people need to connect to the same server anyway. Right. Ticket sales, it goes back to one venue has to eventually get the tickets and verify them, right?
Why do you need centralization? Why do you need decentralization for you, right? You just need more security, basically, more authentication, but
it's not like you necessarily couldn't do some of this stuff with blockchains, but
Yeah.
it's just like, doesn't this just make it harder to do what these things need anyway? Yeah. We'll see.
With
Yeah,
game, well, yeah, never mind. I was going to say something that I realized didn't make sense. So,
well, I mean,
Feel free to
metaverse
say
does
it.
make sense. Yeah.
Feel free to say it, Mike.
well,
Then we can make fun of you for it.
yeah, no, because I was thinking, like, I was trying to think about, like, I mean, the whole point of blockchain is like decentralized, like keeping the same state. Like everyone has the same state,
Exactly.
but
Mhm.
like it's decentralized. So I was trying to think about, like, if there was a way in like a purpose for games to have like where players have like different, like essentially like you could have like the same, everyone's playing the same game, but they're all in different states at different time. Like, you know, like if you could have like a decent experience for all players, but like it's not a cohesive experience actually.
It would be very interesting because I mean, like what happens when two people change a state in a way that's like in conflict, right? And for like a cryptocurrency and it's like a transaction just like redoes it. But it's like if you imagine your decentralized blockchain MMORPG, does it say, well, I know you spent the last 15 minutes doing this, but someone else actually did it like 1 minute before you, so it doesn't count? Like,
Well,
I'm sure they could resolve things like that, but like it opens up a lot of complications, right?
yeah, well, that's why I was like, it doesn't make sense because yes, I mean, I guess the whole point of blockchain is to make sure the game stays like in a cohesive, like single state or like, you know, but as opposed to like, my idea was more just like totally different. Like, can you make games where it's like essentially like, you know, like these players are all playing a game, but like in one person's universe, they shot the other person, and then in the other person's universe, they shot the other person. And so it's almost like they can, like the statistics you see it, like they can both win or both lose.
That's a fork. You can't have a fork.
Yeah. I'm not a gamer, so I guess that would ruin it for people if it's like, you know, it's not a zero sum game here.
Yeah. Funnily enough, what you described happens constantly because every game has the version on your computer, the other person's computer, and the server, and they're all a little different.
Right.
And game companies, network people do a lot of smart stuff to try to figure out the best way to resolve that so that it seems instant and seamless. But everyone who's played a shooter has ran behind a wall and then died afterwards, right? Like,
right.
Well, on their screen, you weren't behind the wall. Sorry.
Right.
Interesting. That's a good point. Maybe blockchain might be able to better way of keeping stake like that. I don't know.
I mean, this is something that needs to happen at like super fast, right? Like it needs to be as fast as possible so that like it's to reduce how noticeable it is to our perception. So I don't think blockchain's what's going to be like the fastest possible like resolutions, right?
Yeah. I mean, for gaming, for me, it's not about the game state, right? It's more about the skins, the artifacts, the stuff you can buy in there, right? That you can transfer from one game to the other. Hopefully, like people talk about the metaverse and stuff like that. And that sounds pretty, that sounds like makes sense to me instead of like keeping all the game in the blockchain, which doesn't make sense, right? It's just too much data where you can have like, buy a skin, Yeah, I mean, people do that anyway. Like you buy skins, right? So people actually, there is a market for it. So
yeah. Well, the thing with that is like, okay, so I guess it's about like the worth for the developer because let's say there's a big blockchain for video game items and you bought a skin from World of Warcraft, right? So if you want to use it in another game, the developers, you would need to like give your account in this other game. We'll call it Fortnite 2. Right? So you'll need to point them to your wallet and say, look, I have this NFT of a skin, right? So yeah, they could use that, but then they have to decide what like NFTs, I assume is what these skins would be, what NFTs they recognize and like as valid and then put models into their game, versions of it so you can actually use in their game. And like, that's a lot of resources to just start making all that stuff. And where do they, like if you bought the skin in WoW, right? Are you paying Fortnite 2.0 to be able to use your skin you already bought? Or are they supposed to just work to do that do that work for free. And I mean, maybe some companies would want to try to like attract players, right? Be like, oh, you can use your stuff. But it seems like the value to the company is a little like, I'm not sure if they'd be able to like make sense from a money perspective, right? Because what games want to do is sell you their own stuff. They don't want you to, even if they made them like, oh, we can agree to make versions that will work, where if you have this and that, it's basically if you have an item in this game, we'll say you have this equivalent item in our game.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I'm just saying that I can see it being like there's a value that people actually buy this stuff. So you create NFT and then people can transfer it around. Maybe it's better, but how to get there is a completely different story. Is it feasible? Do we really need it? I mean, I don't play games, so no, I don't really buy any stuff anyway, so I don't really need it.
People
do solve a big problem? Not really.
People do like a sense of permanence, right? Like permanent progression that they get to keep. So like if you could make it set up, like I could see it being something people like if they're like, it's my account, that like you think of like some general game account that holds all this stuff, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Well,
digital ownership and privacy. That's what I see blockchain useful for.
Blockchain literally puts all transactions on a public ledger. So unless the second your wallet is identified with you, there's no privacy.
I guess that's what I mean. Like, as long as your wallet is anonymous, I mean, yeah.
What did you say, Mike? I missed what you say.
So I said digital ownership and privacy are what I see, like, crypto, blockchain, and but I mean, really, when I say privacy, I mean like privacy and trend, like buying stuff. So that's what I would be.
But Mike's right. Yeah, Mike's right. There's no privacy in the blockchain because it's public. Everybody can see it. However, there's some company that try to work out privacy, Web3 privacy. So you cannot see public ledger of stuff. So it's kind of I don't know. It's kind of interesting because almost like the whole claim of blockchain is all visible. Everything is like public, and then some people try to work on privacy, so you cannot see everything as public, which is kind of counter to original creation, I guess, right? Mm-hmm. But anyway, speaking of like creating money from thin air, have you heard of the company called Ether Diamonds?
Only when first of all, what a professional transition was. That was amazing. I only heard about it because I read your link that you posted in our little Junto Club doc. Mm-hmm. Interesting idea. So why don't you explain it first?
Okay, so Ether Diamond, I think AETHER, I think it's spelled Ether, Aether Diamonds. Basically, this company extracts carbons from like CO2 like in the air, right? And then collect them and go through some kind of process. I think they use some kind of reactor basically to make them, synthesize them into actually diamonds. Because what diamond is, just carbons, right? So they just collect these CO2s, carbon dioxide, and then extract the carbons and then make into a real diamond. Actually, they're selling diamonds right now made just by capturing CO2 from the air. So literally diamonds from thin air, or, money from thin air, right? So what do you think?
It's a cool gimmick.
Yeah.
So, I mean, lab-made
gimmick.
diamond.
Why is it gimmick?
Well, it's a gimmick. I guess maybe gimmick's a little negative. It's a cool idea. Lab-made diamonds have existed already, right? Like people have been making diamonds and like other similar things in labs. But I think their thing is like, well, we'll use CO2 in the air. So it's like carbon capture, right?
Yeah.
With our diamonds instead of just, I don't actually
They actually made a planet cleaner. I think they also claim to use, at least from the company, they claim that, a lot of lab diamonds still use a lot of like waste, like water and stuff like that to basically still generate a lot of, basically, what do you call that? Environmental, emissions. And they claim they basically, it's very clean process, basically. So, I mean, I think, and that's why I want to bring it out. It's just a cool, I was like, well, I never heard of that. And also you can just create nice stuff from air, right?
Yeah.
I mean, alchemy, you actually have to turn metal into another metal, But this actually just grabs stuff from thin air. So I was like, damn.
No, it's neat. I mean, I guess the way I think of it is because the difference between their lab-made diamonds and others are just they're trying to do it in a greener way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is cool. That's good. But, it's neat. I mean...
Would you buy one?
Would I? Yeah, probably. I mean, I like lab-made diamonds or jewels in general over the mined ones. Why pay more for a natural worse diamond? It doesn't make any sense to me. But, would I pay for the green ones? Probably, if they're not much more expensive.
Yeah.
They're double the price, I might just be but...
Yeah, probably similar price. Well, what do you think, Mike?
Well, I'm just saying, what is the one diamond company that makes real diamonds, like De Beers or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'm curious, about why lab-made diamonds haven't made a bigger impact, I guess, in their business before this.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess it's just advertising or something, because
I'm sure perception's somewhat. I had a high school friend who got married a little over a year ago, and I remember chatting with him and his fiance at the time, and she was did not want a lab-made diamond or a moissanite, which is very similar to diamond, slightly different stone. That's also lab-made. She wanted the authentic diamond. So some people want that still, which might be advertising, just calling it real, But,
right. Yeah, which makes sense, right? Is a lot of people still, think lab-made is it's not real, right? It's like meat, right? You lab-made meat,
But no, but there's
people are gonna have hesitations of eating it, right?
Yeah. So some people. Sorry, you go, Mike.
Well, I was just going to say, lab-made meat, I don't think should be an argument if it tastes as good as, if you could say, this steak and this steak are taste the same, and I'm not going to tell you which is which, and you taste them and they're like, oh, they taste the same, I can't tell, then why wouldn't you eat the lab-made? It's sort of like with diamonds, if it's here's a diamond, I can't tell the difference,
Well, you might be able to tell the difference because natural diamonds have flaws usually, and lab-made diamonds are going to be almost perfect. So they're better. I would argue they're literally better and cheaper. But other people might argue, well, if no, orphan didn't bleed in mines on the diamond,
that's right.
Is it really as sparkly?
That's right.
Teach their own.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
if it isn't a blood diamond.
It's the same thing about the debate about cryptocurrency and actual US dollar, right? Is cryptocurrency not real money? And the end result that they can both buy stuff, so that means they're real money, right? They're both fine, and then crypto is better in a sense, right?
Well, to be fair, there's not many places you can actually pay with crypto directly. You usually have to convert, but
true.
Anyway.
There's a burger place called, have you heard of Bored Ape Yacht Club?
Bored Ape Yacht Club?
Yeah. Actually, some guy opened a Bored Ape restaurant in California somewhere, to only accept cryptocurrency payments.
How's that work?
For their burgers, their burger probably costs $15 or $14, right?
Well,
however,
$13 or $14 on one day, $30 the next, $5.
However, they have suspended crypto payment.
The Bored Ape Burger Shop suspended crypto payments. Oh, so when crypto crashed, they're like, Jesus.
No, I think they suspended. I think they don't really accept it anymore, or something like that. Something about it. I think a lot of people, a lot of customers actually went in to buy a burger, and they don't want to use. They want to use actual dollars. I think they just don't want you. They don't have cryptocurrency. So
wow.
Either way, I think anyway. So it's the only place that create to accept a payment don't accept it anymore. That's the point. Something like that.
Anyway, we've talked about crypto enough. We'll push that to the slide. What were we talking about?
Well, let's not talk about another pipe dream project.
Oh God, look at
yeah, that's right.
She was on a roll.
Exactly. Are we done with diamonds on a.
Yeah, fair
Yeah,
enough.
that's fun.
Okay, yeah, let's talk about another pipe dream project called Pipe Dream Labs. Have you guys heard about it?
Well, from your link, show.
All
What do you
right.
think?
I like it. I mean, I don't know how like it. It may be a pipe dream, but I like the idea. Like,
Hold on, guys. We got to explain what it is.
Yeah,
Okay.
go ahead.
right?
Basically, think of like those tubes that pharmacists use to pipe things over to your car, except they're not going to use air. They're just going to have like little wheels on them and motors. So you can think of them as very simple robots. And it's going to go through a city to deliver stuff.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
although apparently, because I was looking at this, I'm like, are they really going to say they're going to put like a pipe into every person's house? Because I'm like, that's a ridiculous amount of infrastructure. But apparently they're going to have just like sort of like last mile stations, right? Kind of like Amazon lockers. Like we can put up some in a city and we don't have to pipe everywhere, but hopefully there's one that's not too far that you can like just walk to get stuff or drop things off.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I could see it's tough because it's one of those infrastructure things where like once you have it, I agree. It's probably would be really efficient and quick and very convenient, but it's not like buying a product. It's like setting up new infrastructure through a city, and that's a lot, right?
Yeah.
No, it is. I mean, I guess maybe though. I mean, I guess once again, it's like a company interacting with the city, but I feel like, I don't know. I do feel like Amazon could probably get it done if the startup like couldn't, where it's like, yeah, like they have those Amazon drop locations and it's like basically like they just run, because the idea was to have it like essentially it underground, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean,
it's not utility, not water pipes, right?
Yeah. So it's just sort of like, I mean, that's sort of the next stage of automation. So Amazon already has like robots bringing, like these huge carts over that people pick from, that Amazon is working to like have a robot pick from to put it in a box. The box is sealed. The box could be pushed in, the appropriate pipe that goes to, drop location B. And, so basically you could be like on your phone, like, I'm going to go for a run. And it's like you run, like at the beginning of your run, you're like, oh, I'd like to, buy whatever. Like I'd like to pick up a shirt. And like you could run a mile to drop location B. And by the time you get there, it's like they would have got the shirt in a box and sent it along the pipeline. So.
Yeah. Maybe.
So. I don't know. It's I mean, I could see that like that is a feasible like idea for the future, like look for the future.
No, I agree.
It's kind of hyperloop for packages, basically. Right?
Yeah.
Not vacuum tube.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess that never happened. So.
Well, that was obvious, right?
Yeah.
But we're not here to shit on the Hyperloop today.
Yeah.
So, no, I don't know. Like, it's just maybe I'm biased because I've been living in New York City, right? So I see people dig shit up and how much like time and effort it takes them to do like one like 20 foot by 20 foot patch of something.
Yeah.
And I'm like, imagine putting even like 20 miles of these pipes, which wouldn't get that much area in a city, right? Like very quickly you'd have that spread out. It's like that would be an enormous amount of cost.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe when we're building new cities, maybe, that could be the future, right? They lay an extra pipe or two for delivery robots.
Yeah.
That is a fair point. I mean, it is like anytime any even minimal construction happens in a city, it's a fucking nightmare. So,
yeah.
Well,
I mean, you do pipes all the time, so maybe it's not going to be. I think the idea is good, but how to get there is the hardest part, right?
Yeah.
And of course, the infrastructure cost is going to be very high in the beginning initially, and then getting people adopted to another challenge too. So there's multiple challenges, but I think that the idea is good. They do have. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say I could still see, I guess, more traditional delivery robots from things that drive around to even like flying ones be like winning out in the end as AI gets better. Because what these pipe things really save a lot on like simplifying the AI process, right? Because it just has to drive in a pipe, maybe choose a few turns. So it's much more simpler, but eventually we'll have like that, vision and software and nav will I mean, you can already kind of make a delivery robot, right? Maybe they're just not great, but like as those get better, I see that winning out over digging up a large portion of a city, right?
I guess the pushback on that is like, okay, like we have autonomous cars, right? Like, autonomous cars are there in 20 years, right? It's like the thing that I like about these pipes is it limits congestion.
Yeah.
Like, so like the 8,000 Amazon trucks that are on the road delivering people stuff, like a lot of that can just go to pipes now.
Well, here's an important part. I didn't say delivery cars. I said delivery robots, because all these cities should just ban cars in the first place.
That's right.
A difference.
You hate cars, yes. That's
so
right.
Imagine if we ban cars and then
you
we
just
turn
want
all
UAVs.
lanes into, bike lanes and other things. We could have a little autonomous delivery robot lane, or it could just share other lanes, but it'd be so much more efficient, so much more traffic we could get.
But I guess and just pipes, right? I think the company actually they show a video of what you can just like in the future you could just pipe the stuff into your house basically.
Yeah.
Right. It's just like you maybe have dedicated box there and you can just like whenever you order something you just zip it through your pipe and then just open it, you have it, it's not utility, right? It's not water line going to your house, right? Stuff like that. And I think the company also mentioned that in case it fails, right? Actually, people can reuse the pipes they actually already constructed, right? You just use it like doing some other utility company can take over. It's not going to be a big waste, basically. Not
like a waste, yeah. Like it's basically like new places could just lay it out and be like, this could be used for something.
Yeah.
So it's worth having. Which is true.
Yeah. I mean, this company literally. I mean, I guess is their business model sort of like they would create these pipes and like Amazon and grocery stores and like a bunch of different businesses could essentially use these pipes like servers,
I think so. I think so. Yeah, you actually basically take over part of the delivery, right? Now, for example, on Amazon, you have a small package or something, right? You can just zip it through, right? And then, so right now in the beginning, what they do is they have different stations and different locations. And some people go and then drop package into the station. And then on the other end of station, there's another person. Imagine this is like across the city, like very far away, right? You don't want people to drive across town. All you need is zip it. And then the last mile, someone's going to, maybe ride a bike, or even just walk it and then pick up the package from the station and then, send it to your house, right? So it's minimizing the travel, it's like it's good for the environment as well, I guess. So anyway, yeah.
No, it's an interesting idea, but yeah, I guess like if you're a company that specializes in building these types of tubes and you're really, really good at it, there's definitely a lot of businesses that would want to use you, but it's just how good can you be at it and how horrible is it to actually build these tubes?
Yeah, ultimately it's actually, I also thought about you, Matt, when I read how they do it, right? Because when they expand this to a large scale, they need to coordinate on these robots, right? Zipping through the pipes, right? So it's where your expertise, right? Multi-robot coordination.
That's true. All right. Well, if they make it, maybe I was going to say when they make it big, I'll go work for them, but I should work for them beforehand.
Exactly.
Get that startup stock ownership.
Right now, and they do have job openings right now, and looking for people.
I'm going to text my boss, tell him I quit right after this.
Well, you can always apply and take a look and see you don't have to make the decision, right? You can just talk about it, and if they give you an offer, then you can decide, right? So
yeah. Well, I want to do.
I don't think they are there yet. I don't think they're very early stage right now. So I don't even I'm not sure if they have any pipes on the ground already. They might have, but yeah.
That's perfect. Maybe in like a year, I'll check them out, see if it's like, hey. But interesting idea. We'll see.
Yeah. All right.
I'm not confident about it, but we'll see.
Yeah, there's multiple challenges. One is like the infrastructure, as you say, the cost of laying pipes under the ground. And also there's a regulatory probably, right? Regulation. You probably need to deal with government, right? So there's another
you deal with the government, it's a fucking nightmare.
Oh yeah. To lay that utility stuff, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, Google's laid fiber, so it's not impossible, but
Well, that's
Why
why
is
I was
Google?
saying, like, I feel like Amazon could get it done. But like I'd believe if this were like an Amazon initiative, I'd be like, or Amazon were giving them financing or something, I'd be like, okay, maybe. But I feel like you need to have that like $1 trillion company type, like, hey, we're buddy with the government and can like push through everything pretty fast. Because otherwise it's going to take like decades. Like it's sort of like autonomous cars, right? Like, I mean, there's like, I feel like they're going to be slower coming out than they actually could be, in part because there's like a lot of legal questions and, government level questions.
Yeah.
So.
It's funny. What sucks for them is this would obviously be the best for like all large dense cities would be the best in terms of not having to lay out the most pipe, to be effective. But those are the places where it are already built up, right? Like it's new developments that tend to be, more dispersed that it'd be easier to construct.
Yeah.
And if there's always plans for people to like build a city from scratch, like designed right to be like the perfect city. If that ever happens, they should try to incorporate this in.
Yeah, government is fucked up now, Talking about government over-regulation, I think it's time to talk about Roe v. Wade.
Well, in this case, is it under-regulation? I don't know. Or is it over-regulation by the states? All right, well, real quick, just pulse check. Are y'all happy or sad about the Roe v. Wade decision?
I mean, it doesn't affect me, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. No,
so, I mean, personally, it doesn't affect me.
Well, here, I could say, do you think it's a good or bad thing?
Tonight, well, tell me what it is anyway. I still need to understand it.
Okay, so long story short, Roe v. Wade was overturned. This means it is now okay for states to ban abortion. Roe v. Wade blocks states from doing that. And essentially, I think already like 20-something states it's already banned now, effectively, with various details on like the limits. But like a bunch of states had what they called like trigger laws, where they're like, if Roe v. Wade gets overturned, like we will ban abortion. Yeah, and like it varies about how much they make exceptions for things like mother's health or rape or things like that. So, but like a lot of places, it's now more or less banned for abortion in the U.S. Abortion is banned more or less.
So the decision, I think a lot of people was. So why did it get overturned? What's the reason of overturning it, Roe?
I mean, I'm not a legal scholar by any means.
Okay, go back a little bit. So Roe v. Wade in the beginning was like when you, in the 80s or something, it was to say you cannot, the states doesn't have the right to ban abortion. Is that what essentially
that's what it effectively did. I think it was something about the state doesn't have a right to like interfere in people's personal medical decisions. Like it was something like that's like an element of privacy that the state has just like no place in enforcing, and it was applied towards abortions. And then, so when this overturning, it doesn't ban abortion in the U.S., but it allows states to ban. And there's a lot of states that now already have.
It basically giving the power back to the state decision. It's not a federal government decision. So that's why you say, it's under-regulated.
Yes. You could see if it's either under-regulated by the federal government or over-regulated by states. You could take it either way.
Got you.
Yeah. So anyway, I think that's bad, both for moral and practical reasons.
I just don't understand why. Like, it's just so annoying to me in 2022 that people fucking care. Like, it's just like, let abortions happen. There's so much that people care about, like, that doesn't affect them at fucking all. And it's just like, leave it alone. Like, why go back to it? It doesn't make, like, it was done. It was done. And now you could just look the other way.
Well, the one that I thought the ultimate done was like gay marriage, right? I'm like, okay, we legalize that. No one cares anymore. Almost, right? And like, it's widely accepted. And now they're like, Clarence Thomas, the Supreme Court guy, was like, maybe we need to revisit that one too, because it used similar logic. And I'm just like, like really? Like that's what, like Jesus.
No, it's, well, that's, I guess because I had heard like, or I've heard, and I haven't looked into it too much, but like that, like Roe v. Wade. So Roe v. Wade was based on like states not interfering in medical decisions specifically, or just like the states can't like personal decisions.
That's more legal details than I know.
Okay. Because like because a lot of people keep saying like, oh, it goes deeper than just abortion, and it's like I'm for like, I mean, I think abortion should be very lax. Like, I mean, I think like, I mean, basically, a kid doesn't even have a sense of self till 6 months, so it's like, it's, I mean, I'm pretty forward thinking on that, but it's like, yeah, but, and, I like gay marriage, like all this stuff is just like decided, it's just like, let people do what they want. Like, especially like if it doesn't affect you, just let them do what the fuck they want. Like, I'm just sick of it.
Well, I think they do affect people, right?
What do you mean? Are you making the argument that the child is a person?
Yeah, I mean, if the Republican, the conservative are making those arguments, right? If a life is life, right? Is in conception, right? It's kind of for who to decide that, the life form has no right, right? If you consider all life has rights, right?
Well, first, so I know you're making the devil's argument here. At least I hope, and that's okay. Playing devil's advocate, but like, I would love to see the Venn diagram of pro-lifers and vegans and how many really think all life is life, right? Or more practically, if you just want to be like, well, humans and animals are just whatever, right? Like, how many people would be like, this brain dead patient in a hospital, you can't pull the plug, that's murder, right?
Yeah. But I guess I'm saying I do see why the Supreme Court actually, I don't think that when they made the decision to overturn Roe v. Wade, I completely don't have a lot, don't really have a big deep understanding. But I'm just saying maybe they overturn it. Maybe they don't think it as abortion. They were more like states' rights versus federal rights, right? Is that how they frame the decision or making the decision, right? Is that how they do it?
I think it was more about like what exactly the 14th Amendment covered.
Yeah, it's not really. I mean, the debate for them, I'm saying for the Supreme Court justice, is not really about the debate about abortion, whether you have the right to abortion or not, right? It's about, I'm saying maybe for them they know I think also they are doing the thing that's really unpopular right now, and sometimes when you do the most unpopular thing, right, they know that people are going to be really angry, and then so I think sometimes it takes some courage actually for people to do what is unpopular at the moment, right? But even though for a bigger picture, I think they are thinking about the bigger picture, right? As you say, I think Mike, you also saying, okay, what is done is done. There's no really change it. But sometimes if you think in the future, maybe in some laws that pass a Supreme Court decision, a terrible decision that need to be overturned. I think Supreme Court actually made terrible decision back like maybe 100 years. I think Supreme Court even saying that it's good to eugenics or something like that, right? Supreme Court was for eugenics back in the day, right? So I think they kind of overturn it too. So I think sometimes it's good for a system to change their decisions, right?
Okay, well, I will agree with you on the point of like, I guess where I think a lot of people's anger come from, and like when I say like it's done, move on, like I'm just talking about abortion specifically. And as Matt said, like Roe versus Wade is like, that overturning that does not make abortion, like it does not ban abortion. It gives the states the opportunity to ban abortion. So I think where most of the anger is coming from is why the fuck is there so many states who are like, oh, now that we're able to do it, we're going to do it immediately. Like, and like, or make it essentially bans, with a few like, nitpicky exceptions or like a nitpicky wrong.
But Texas already banned it like a while ago, right?
Well, yeah, they did like the heartbeat at 8 weeks thing or something.
Yeah, I think even Georgia too, right? That's another company tried to pull out Georgia, right?
So I want to push back though on, she's talking about, well, they're thinking about the wider scope, but like the wider scope seems worse, right? Like
Mm.
the wider scope is like the right. It's related to your your privacy and able to do things like how much the fundamental question of how much the government can regulate what you do when it doesn't impact other people. And in general, I also lean on the government should just stay out of people's fucking business and let them do the shit they want to do.
Gotcha.
Let doctors do what doctors think is like the right call, right? Like, it's just, I don't think that's a good precedent for the states to be able to just, we'll say, take away rights at will. I mean, we have, this is like the old thing they teach in school, right? Like majority rule, but minority rights. In this case, it's not even a minority right, it's the majority right. But, just because we're a democracy doesn't mean you can just vote and decide like some people don't have rights.
Yeah.
Well, or maybe at least I should correct that. That's how it should work. That's not how it works, but
I think you got a good point. Like anything that restricts people's, I guess, right is just not good. Right?
I mean, it's overall good. I mean, obviously you can't have a right to do anything, but like when we restrict rights, we need like a very clear, I think you should have a clear case about like how is this beneficial, and otherwise there's like there's significant problems and harm coming from that, right? It's quite the opposite. Restricting abortion is going to cause a bunch of harm, so it's a double bad, double down on the worst.
Yeah. No, like I say, it's just like there's some things that it's just like we were there, like you don't need to worry about it. It's just over and move on. And it's like, and I mean, I feel like there are things like there are many. I feel like there are many examples of people just like looking backward too much. Like, and it's like, when it's like you have the opportunity to look forward and it won't influence your life at all. And it's just like people still won't do it because they're fucking stupid.
Some people just get mad at the world, right? Don't like how the world is. They want it to go back to their, whatever was their particular golden era.
But in some ways, I think the main thing is that we don't really understand the other, at least personally, I don't understand the other side's argument completely, right?
Which side?
So when what?
Which side?
The pro-life side, right? Whoever the other side that tried to overturn Roe v. Wade, right? The other side, the conservative side, whatever, right? I'm just saying that I don't really understand. Sometimes, because when you don't understand the other side's argument, you can't really debate it. I guess personally, when I try to have a very strong opinion about it, right?
That's a good point in general, and I think to not be too dismissive about it, I think the majority of like pro-lifers take the religious angle, almost all of them take the religious angle, and they say, oh, according to my religious beliefs, not that the Bible mentions this anywhere, but they're like, according to my religious beliefs, this is a person, killing them is, would be wrong. And like, that's fine to believe. There's people who think cows are sacred and don't eat them. That's great. But like, we don't ban steak, right? So like, if that is your religious belief, follow it. Don't impose it on others.
Right. And
but without referencing religion, I don't think they have a coherent argument at all.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, I was just going to say, like, they'll argue life begins at conception or, and I mean, I can even see like from the conservative side, it's like, okay, obviously there's like, abortions for a variety of reasons, like health reasons, in the case of like rape or incest or something like really horrible. But like, there are abortions in cases where it's like, this is an unwanted pregnancy, right? Like that has progressed, for however many weeks or whatever. And it's like, I can even see like a conservative argument, like, oh, if you aren't intervening here, like if you aren't taking a like definitive, like, if you don't have this procedure, this is going to be a life. Like, even if you don't argue, like take the religion, like, second sperm meets egg, like it's life now. Like, but you're like, you are intervening in a way that like prevents a life from happening. But I mean, they're very dismissive of like the women who choose to have that happen. Like they act like it's like an easy decision, and it often isn't. It's like, but it's a decision that maybe, the best, for them, financially or like wherever they are in life, or, there may be health concerns or whatever. So it's like, it's like I can understand like the position, like, oh, like if there's no intervention, there is a life here. But, I mean, it's hard unless, yes, you're taking a religious argument to say it's a life now or, when the procedure actually happens.
Yeah. And yeah. So like I hear stuff like that too, but like, and it's like technically the fetus might continue to grow, but like having a baby doesn't just happen, right? Like women actually have to do a lot of intervention, or they're very likely to have either have their kid die anyway, or have like a sick, ill child, right? You got to go to the doctor appointments. You need to take your prenatal vitamins and all that other shit, right? Or you can't drink. You're going to have all sorts of problems with the kid, right? Like even if they're alive, they might be like fucked up, which is like, it's like a shit ton of time and money and effort to actually have a healthy kid, come out the other end. So it's very much not just like, well, don't worry about it. It's not like you'll just go to the doctor for an hour and, 7 months and then it's fine, right? Like it's not like that, right?
Yeah, and there's a lot of cost to it. Also, I think it impacts a lot of more like lower income people, right?
Yeah.
And and then you create problems basically. People that low income probably are not in a very good family, so that means the kid gonna grow up, potentially, have a higher chance of doing something like drugs and other stuff that that may be harmful to other people, right?
It's gonna limit the mom's opportunity, to maybe like get a better career, go to school or something if they have a kid they didn't want, it's just all sorts of problems. If they're from a poor family, we're probably going to pay a bunch of welfare, so it's going to cost the government a lot of money. If you're a fiscal conservative, this is a terrible idea, like the worst. I mean, if you really want to, what really pisses me off too is like if you hate abortion, why don't we just give out fucking birth control for free on every street corner constantly, and not just pills, be like, we'll put the thing in your arm that goes for a few years, right? Or whatever, right? Like make this the most easily accessible thing in the country and say like, if you don't want to have a kid, you don't have to. Because I'm pretty sure.
But the religion, the Catholics, they actually ban birth control, right?
Yeah, a lot of the same people who don't want abortions don't want like services like that, giving out birth control or educating kids or things on it. And it's like, what are you even fucking doing? Like make up your goddamn mind. Like it's, and then they don't want to, and then they talk about, these are the same people who often, like literally the same people will also be like, well, we spend too much on welfare and stuff and complain about that. It's like, you're just not living in reality here. Like we could save so much money and limit abortions. We just gave out birth control like crazy, and they'll be like, well, I don't want to pay for it. But it's like, well, you either, unless you're okay with kids starving on the street, you're going to be paying for something. So like pay for an abortion, pay for birth control, or pay for the kids' welfare. Like you got to pick one, just also, like welcome to reality.
Also pass gun control so you don't kill kids actually. Right now. Yeah. There's some people are saying. Also, I think something I read in a book called Free Economics, Free Economics, or Free Economics or something like that.
Yeah, Free Economics.
Yeah, Free Economics. And one of the cases they talk about is like I think in the 1990s or something, they see a big drop in like crime, right?
Yeah.
And then a lot of people try to figure out why. And then I think the author is trying to say that, they try to attribute to Roe v. Wade because of abortion, right? In the 80s, just passed, a lot of people got abortion. So, you don't have like broken families, you have less people that potentially growing up in a bad family that have the more tendency to commit crimes and stuff like that. So that's a kind of almost another interesting point potentially. So
yes, it is quite literally bad and more expensive for society to ban them.
Well, let's see in 20 years or 18 years if we have more crimes. If we do, then
it's already skyrocketing. So I'm sure things will look great.
Yeah. Well, what's also interesting is well, we're, another Supreme Court decision or two. And I feel like the gap between red and blue states is going to be like so enormous. They're going to be like entirely different countries, right? Like, how are we going to function, right, when it's entirely different worlds? And what I imagine is a lot of these decisions, they're probably going to hurt the red states the most. And it's going to be interesting to see, how these states, which are often already the ones who are worse off on, every metric, how they deal with that. I assume they'll find something else to scapegoat and blame, but.
Well, I mean, it just annoys me. It's like we should be focusing on fucking curing. We have effective treatments for cancer. If we focused on streamlining, development, sharing of patient data and sharing of knowledge, we could actually do something good there. If we focused on getting these pipelines built, I could get my fucking Amazon shirts delivered in 30 seconds. And we're focusing on something from 1980 something. And it's like, just leave me alone. Let me build my pipes and get my shirts.
Let me have my lab-grown diamonds piped to me 30 minutes after I order, all right?
That's right. That's right. I mean, I want to be a consumer and I want to live longer, and I don't care what people want to do with respect to their own lives.
I don't want to be too partisan sounding here, but when was the last fucking time the Republican Party talked about doing something useful and not just fighting Democrats or overturning shit that's already settled? When was the last serious policy proposal from the party? I can't remember one.
Wait, what's going on? I thought you guys were a pro-Republican. What's going on?
What are you talking about?
You loved Trump back in the day. Remember when we had the discussion? What's going on?
He said some funny stuff, which I don't want to necessarily say I found funny in a public recording, but he was funny at times. I'll admit that. We admitted that. But
I was super liberal back in the day. You guys just turned me into a conservative.
Oh yeah, is that how it happened?
Yeah, we kind of flip.
I mean, I've always been just very much on the side of people do what they want. I mean, I'll still say I like money. So, but I mean, I am willing to, if my taxes go to something good, then that's good. But if my taxes go to if my taxes just go to war or other countries, I'm less excited about that. But
I mean, I call myself a liberal, but in the liberalism political philosophy sense, right? Not liberals are the more left people that they use it on Fox News, right? So I'm super pro-capitalist, probably moderate in a lot of things, but the Republican Party has been a joke the last 6-7 years. It's honestly, they have been, right? If you go back far enough, Republicans did, even if you don't agree with them on everything, they did at least try stuff or were sometimes reasonable. The recent Republican parties, most of them have been a joke, or a lot of them. I don't know.
Well, I mean, this is also the religious faction of the Republic, or for the most part, this is going to be more of a fundamentalist religion faction making these types of decisions. And it's it's stupid. I mean, it's just I fully support people who want to be religious, but it's you cannot force oh, I don't like the idea of abortion because of my religion. You can't, you can't have abortions because I don't like it. It's silly.
To be honest though, this is all really idealized because there's a lot of places you can't buy alcohol on Sunday or at all. Dry counties exist.
Whoa.
You're not aware of this?
Wrong. That's so restrictive. We need to protest that.
I mean, and if we go back 50 plus years, and just keep going back, you'll actually see people just applied religion to shit all the time. And we just sort of ignored that. So, but
I thought religion and government both need to be separate. in America.
I thought Thomas Jefferson wrote that at some point, but that's not how it's been for most of the country's history. It's still not how it is exactly. So it's really annoying too, because I think in Alabama there is a place where it's you could only buy alcohol on Sunday after 12, which isn't the worst. But you go to the grocery store and you're checking out at 11:45 and you're trying to buy a bottle of wine, your favorite Walmart wine to have later, and they're you can't buy that now. It's just Am I supposed to like sit here? I wasn't even looking at the time. Like, this is so stupid, right?
That's a very specific example. Too specific in a
That
way.
is. This is not an example.
Did you
This
actually
is
do it?
If there was a
anecdote
priest
of
in
what
the
happened to
store,
me.
if there was a priest in the store, could he bless it? And you'd be like, now it's Jesus's blood. Can I buy it?
Are these laws discriminatory against Catholics? That's a good point. Now that I think about it, they should consider suing.
No, and I that like in Massachusetts, they used to have like what they called, I think, the blue laws, and it was very like it was the same idea. Like on Sundays, you can't buy liquor, or like certain places need to close at certain times on Sundays. And, yeah, but the world seemed to be moving away from that. But maybe we're moving back.
Yeah, there's always two ways to frame it. Like either are we like, I'll say regressing, back, or is it like that sort of like, like dying, not dying breath. What's the term? Animal in a corner fights back harder, right? Like, is it like the vestigials of this? People who believe this way realize like society's just like moving on and they're like fighting their hardest. But even if that's true and society trends as people, as the boomers die and Gen Z become like a thing, right? Even if the trends of society goes, they still got the Supreme Court pretty locked down. So that's going to be a bitch for a couple decades. So.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, I guess ideally, hopefully it's sort of like, I think what was the latter statement there, that basically like, this is like the last slash at like people trying to like come back at, like, oh, we're going to push it back. And then society pretty much as a whole is like, no, you're not. And like, it pretty quickly reverses and continues on a better course.
Well, stepping away from, the issues themselves to talk about like the political races, right? Most people were like, oh, the Democrats are going to be heading into a tough midterm, probably a tough 2024 election. That's all thrown up in the air, right? Mm-hmm. Is this going to be enough for people to be like, we need to vote, more than a 50-50 Senate with Joe Manchin as one of the Democrats? So like, do we need to give like them enough to say overturn the filibuster? And once they've done that, they could actually, pass a law mandating the legalization of abortion, right? Legislate it rather than using the court.
Right.
That's something could happen. It's never going to happen now because, well, some of the Democrats, there might be a Democrat who would block it themselves, and certainly the Republicans would filibuster it forever. So you'd basically have to get rid of the filibuster first. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe.
No, I'm basically just sick of it. But I just want people to like not like. I want people to be more apathetic.
Coming from Mike, the heck?
He wants the people who he doesn't like what they're trying to do to be more apathetic.
Well, that's basically like. There's just important things that could happen, like piping material goods into our homes. Curing disease, extending lifespan. That's all important. Yeah, putting on good entertainment. All of this is important stuff. And like people should care about that. But it's like when it comes to like meddling in other people's lives, it's like, why? Like, how do you have the energy for that?
Because they have a lot of time.
I wish I had that time. So.
I don't know, man. Some people, got to look for something to give them purpose.
I guess that's true.
There's the people who, rant that the world is flat and it's a conspiracy, right? They just feel the need to have something to fight against and haven't directed that towards something useful or real.
Actually, speaking of that, the world is flat. That's the real thing.
Is this if you look at it from a small enough spot or whatever?
Exactly.
All right, we're going to see you guys next
Actually, no. Actually, the Earth is rounded. It doesn't, the model of the rounded Earth actually doesn't help us in everyday life. The model of the flat.
It does. You know for a long time, I was daily calling people in other countries. Not daily. Every week I was calling people in other countries. Time zones are a thing because the Earth is a globe. Okay. So that was a necessary part of my life.
True.
And as someone who flies, I think flight paths use that.
I'm saying when you're walking out, walking around, it doesn't really affect you much most of the time.
I guess that's true. If we all just lived in like city states that were in like pretty immediate areas, we wouldn't even know that the Earth is round.
Earth is flat.
Or the Earth
and somehow the sun just goes under it when it sets and turns into night. Haven't heard the explanation of that one yet, but
well, that's because there's whatever the sun god is, like Ra or whatever. He carries the sun up to the sky.
Our flat earthers find Egyptian mythology.
Yeah,
I
that's
didn't
right.
realize. All right. So anyway, if anyone listeners were like, man, Shu hates abortion rights, what a terrible person. No, he just loves to play devil's advocate way too much and will argue that the earth is flat. So he's not a terrible person, maybe. That maybe not, but
good point.
I'm not convinced he's against abortion rights, and just more so that he just loves to argue with us.
No.
Yeah, because you guys supposed to be pro-life, I suppose, and the other one. I think it's better you guys to flip. So. To the dark side.
Yes.
Oh, speaking of dark side, you guys watching Kenobi?
I'm not.
Never mind. Then. There's nothing to talk about.
I'm bad with TV.
That's good.
No, it isn't. At the improv this weekend, they asked me about, or I had to do a scene in the style of or a news story in the style of Stranger Things, and I didn't know what to say, so.
Oh, you haven't watched it yet? The new season's really good.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I had no idea what it was about.
Oh my God, both of you guys watch. So like I think what's going to be the very end, they're going to release in like the first week of July or whatever. They're going to like release. I don't know if they're doing all the episodes or just the first, but I'm pretty sure this will be the end of the whole show. Y'all should just watch the show. It's a good show.
All right.
I don't have Netflix.
Bruh, you have the internet. We're talking on it. Pirate it, okay? Like, get over it.
All right.
All right.
Or ask for Mike's account and password, right? You can share some screens, yeah?
All right. Is there anything else we want to cover before ending this recording?
No, I think we're good.
Junto Club.